This week we are going to be starting to talk about Project 3 on the effectiveness of communication and collaboration. Before we do that, I will say in terms of time and pacing in the course, you should be wrapping up most of Project 2 and having it ready to submit so you have plenty of time to dig into the resources and everything that's associated with Project 3. I will say that Project 3 is a very big project in terms of what you have to look at and do and analyze. There's a good bit of data that comes along with Project 3 that you'll be looking at. And I will say that it is a very realistic situation that goes right along with the day and time that we find ourselves in right now with the situation in terms of this virus and the way that it's changed education. Over the last month or so, over 45 of the 50 states have announced that they have closed school buildings for the remainder of the year, which has left teachers working remotely with their students in a variety of ways. And so with that, one of the things that has been a big struggle throughout that process is communication with both students and their support systems. And so this project, in Project 3, we're going to focus on the effectiveness of that communication and collaboration. So if you scroll down to the project overviews, you'll see there are two parts. The first part, you're going to create two deliverables for the third project. The first one is communication and collaboration feedback survey that you will use to collect information from students and student support systems on the effectiveness of communication and collaboration in your course. And in the second part, you're going to create a communication data analysis report. And I'm going to show you more about those in a minute. You can read a little bit about the project scenario, and then you can look at part 1 and part 2 in the project scenario section. More detailed directions are in the directions section, and we'll go into more detail about part 1 and part 2 over the next 2 weeks. But this week I just want to give you kind of a lay of the land, where things are and what to look at and how to find them, and then we'll dig into the details in the coming weeks. So as I scroll down through part 1 and part 2, I want to go all the way down to past the what to submit section to the supporting materials part. And there are two items in the supporting materials part. The first one I want to go ahead and click on is the gradebook and communication log. The information on these two documents is for a student named Brian. The first one is all the assignments that are associated with Brian in the course. It's got the assignment name, the number of points he earned out of a certain amount, the percentage grade, and the date that it was submitted. And so you can notice trends in that. If you look, we go from a 50 to a 90 down to a 56 to a 90 to a 60, 60, 80, and so the grades kind of fluctuate up and down. You want to look at the different types of assignments that those are and what the grades are, and you want to kind of read through all that information. But the other piece you want to tie to all this is the second page of the document, which is the teacher communication log. And so you can see that the grades started around March 14th, and the communication log started around March 7th. And throughout the communication log, you'll see the date, who was contacted, the method of contact, and the message that was shared. And so some messages are shorter than others. Some are more negative in terms of like things that aren't being done and getting called out for it. And then if you look at the very last message in the log, wow, Brian, you've completed lesson 7 and you did it ahead of pace. And so that's a more positive message that was shared through text with the student. So you're going to look at those two pieces. You're going to have to use that data, that information, to complete Project 3. The other piece, the other set of data you're going to use is the team performance matrix or metrics. And so when you go into this, you can see that there are a variety of teachers. There are teachers A through T, and for each teacher you have some data. You have the average monthly parent calls overdue, monthly calls overdue for parents, for students, attempts, number of attempts to contact, and so forth, all the way across to the percentage of students who complete the course. So you're going to look at that data for each of those teachers. You'll notice in the first one, for teacher A, that there are 7 calls overdue for parents, 2 that are overdue for students, and you can look across average total non-workers, 18%. That goes anywhere from around 12 or 14% as one of the lowest, 13%, all the way up to about 34%. So you want to look at those trends, and you're going to read more about what to do with all this data as you read through the project directions and as you read through the unit resources. So as I said earlier, we'll go into more detail with part 1 and part 2 over the next couple weeks. But this is just an orientation to get you ready and started working on project 3.